Yo, what's up, guys? I'm here with my friend Ollie Anwar. So this is basically advice we wish we knew when we were 20 years old. I'm 25 right now.
I just turned 30.
So you start us off, one truth or one piece of advice you wish you knew at 20.
One piece of advice I wish I knew at 20 is you need to work regardless of how you feel. Too many guys nowadays in this emasculated feminine society only do things when they feel like it. If you only want to show up when you feel like it and you want to do that, you're operating at 40%. There are other guys out there that are going to be doing it regardless of how they feel. And you're competing in a global network now with business, with women, for everything. So if you truly want to be successful, you've got to show up and do whatever you've got to do regardless of how you feel.
100%. One piece of advice I would give to my 20-year-old self is don't try and make a perfect move, just try and make a good move. I see so many people, they're like searching for the perfect move. They're like, this is all right, but I don't want to do this. I want to try and find something even better. Like, they're not even making any money, and they're like, I don't care about 5K a month. I want to make millions of dollars. And they'll miss this opportunity here to make 5K a month because they're so focused on the perfect thing. It's better just to start with the good thing, and then that leads to perfect. So good move, good move, good move, then find your perfect move.
Great.
I wish I knew this when I was 20 because I was always looking for the best thing. There's no such thing as the best thing. You make it the best thing later.
Agreed.
Through work.
For sure. So another one for me is another bit of advice I'd give to my 20-year-old self is don't chase women, chase excellence. And I think a lot of guys in their 20s, they really want to get involved with girls and they start chasing girls around. It's all a massive distraction because if you chase excellence and just become the man that you're supposed to be, you develop the skills that attract the women. So if you're
100%.
disciplined, you're a good communicator, you've got a great network, you're funny, you're charismatic, you're fucking jacked, right? Girls are always going to be attracted to you. Whereas if you're chasing girls around, you give off a needy energy, right? Whereas you want to actually attract, not chase, and you attract by building yourself into someone that's worthy of having a high quality woman or a high quality girlfriend.
100%. Something I'll tell my 20-year-old self, this is actually what I already knew at 20, but it's get into sales. I feel like this is useful for people at home. 100% learn sales. If you learn how to speak and learn how to communicate, you're always going to make money. Every business, the foundation is just sales and marketing. People think, what business do I start? Hassan, what's the best business model? Everything's the same. You could have a podcast studio like this and make money. As long as you understand the sales and you understand the marketing, you'll make money. You could be a fitness coach. You could be a plumber. You could be an electrician. As long as you understand sales and marketing, you'll get paid. So learn sales. It doesn't matter what business you want to get into. You want to be an actor, just learn how to sell and you'll always be paid.
100%. Another bit of advice I'd give to my 20-year-old self is to ignore the opinions of others, especially when you're starting out. I remember when I was starting out, I used to be so nervous about posting an Instagram photo because I was worried about what people would think.
That's big,
when
man.
I saw it, right? Now I'm 30 years old, I post hundreds of pieces of content a week. I don't care what anyone thinks about the stuff that I do. But at the start, you really do care because you're worried about what people around you think, your family, your friends, and things like that. But the quicker you get out of that, the more consistent you're going to be and the more successful you're going to be. And at the end of the day, you think you're special, you're not. Like, everybody's focused on their own life. They're not worried about your shitty little post or tweet on Instagram, right? It's about, like, you doing what you need to do for yourself.
Yeah, just to add on to that, no one actually cares.
No.
Like, bro, people don't even remember what they did last week, yet alone to care about what you've posted.
100%.
My next bit of advice to my 20-year-old self would be to actually take social media more seriously because I was only 25 years ago, so social media was actually quite big 5 years ago. So I wish I started on YouTube and posting content earlier because it's one of those things you never think you need it until you need it, right? No one thinks they should start doing YouTube videos or Twitter or Instagram, but it's just important. Like, the more followers you have nowadays, the better your life will be. Whether it's with women, whether it's with business, whether it's with meeting people. If you're in Thailand and you meet someone at a party, right, another guy, you're drinking together, whatever. If he sees you have 75,000 followers on Instagram, he's going to think you're cooler than if you have 16 followers in a black profile picture.
Yeah.
So get posting on social media.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think 100% personal brand is the biggest thing. Even if you've not got a business, like, it's huge, like, because you are a personal brand. So,
and everyone wants money and women, and money and women, we're telling you, are both much more easily obtained with some kind of presence online.
100%.
Or not even necessarily that many followers, but the ability and the skill to be able to generate a big audience. Because if you are a good communicator, you are charismatic, you are consistent and disciplined, you'll get money and women anyway.
100%.
So,
yeah. Definitely.
what's your next one?
So another one that I would have, and a bit of advice I give to my 20-year-old self, is you need to prioritize fitness and physical health.
Yeah.
Because you stand out so much as a 20-year-old that's jacked, that's maybe still broke, than you would be a skinny, fat 20-year-old that's broke. And I think people really forget this, that when you're 20 years old, you do not have a lot going for you as a man, right?
Yeah.
You're at the bottom of the barrel. You've not got much success. You've not got much experience. You've not got a lot going for you. The best thing that you can do is build a sick body, because at that point, that's going to give you the skills, the disciplines to then be good at business, then be good at women, right? And it's also a really easy entry point as well. It doesn't cost much money. You can literally just buy a load of cheap protein, hit the gym hard, and if you stand out like that, that first impression you're going to give as a 20-year-old is huge, and it's going to set you up well for the rest of your life.
100%. Yeah. I see so many people now, they like ask me how they make money, how to make money, and they can't even do 10 pull-ups or 5 pull-ups even, or they can't bench their body weight for a few reps. It's like, what's the point of trying to make money?
Yeah.
I write this tweet quite a lot. I'm like, if you can't bench 80 kilograms, you can't do 5 pull-ups, and you can't squat 100 kilograms.
Yeah.
Just forget money.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
100%.
You know, that was actually what gave me a big confidence boost when I was in university, when I got kicked out. I remember telling myself, you know, I was deadlifting 240 kilogram at the time, and I was like, I'm strong as fuck.
Yeah.
So it's going to be easy to make money because you just apply the same level of discipline in this area to money.
Yeah, 100%.
It's ridiculously easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd agree with that one for sure. My next one would be every day before you go to sleep, try and learn one new thing and get one needle moving task done. So for example, the one thing could be anything, like learn how to use AI or ChatGPT, or learn how to set up a microphone setup in your house, or learn how to use Loom, or learn how to set up meetings with Zoom and collect information, or learn how to do a Google document, or whatever the skill might be.
Yeah.
Just learn how to do something every day.
Yep.
Because skills compound. I think Elon Musk says this. He's like, knowledge compounds, but skills also compound. So the more information you learn, even if you don't know how to use it at the moment, eventually it'll become useful. Eventually you'll be able to apply it.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the needle moving task, that could just be like something within your business. Set up the website today, maybe hire a closer, blah, blah, blah. I want to keep this short and sweet, so.
Yeah. No, that's really good, man. I agree on that for sure. And it compounds massively.
Because you can't go broke and you can't not make money if you're actually always learning something and you're doing
100%.
shit. It's just people like to feel busy. They end up doing nothing, end up learning nothing. 1 year later, same position.
100%. Yeah. Another bit of advice I'd give to my 20-year-old self is it's who you know, not what you know. Now, this one's a little bit controversial, but the amount of doors that are going to open for you with the right network are going to be 10 times more important than maybe what your skill set is. And, you know, look at this as an example, right? If you're a fitness coach and you're a great fitness coach and, you know, you're amazing at what you do, but you've got no good friends, you've got no network, you can't get any good clients, well, your skill is actually quite useless. Whereas if you are, let's say, an average fitness coach, but you've got a fantastic network, you know loads of multimillionaires and successful people, guess what? Your ability to earn and actually use your skill is going to be way higher. So who you know is actually a lot more important at the time than actually what you know.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. People, I think, people just overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my next point.
Yeah.
You know, don't overcomplicate things. You know, I think it was Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So keep things simple. The more simple something is, the more likely you are to remember it, the more likely you are to implement it, the more likely you are to use it. Keep things simple, whether that's diet, workout routine, whether that's making money. Like, the more simple a business is, the better. Have a product, find people who want to buy it. When you start adding complex shit, it just gets difficult.
Yeah.
So just keep things simple. When I was 20, sometimes I was trying to overcomplicate things. I was trying to research things that I didn't need to research.
Yep.
Just the 80-20 rule, right? Focus on the basics, man.
100%. And that actually leads into the next one, which for me would be actually stick at something for a long time.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you, let's say it's business. If you want to set up a drop shipping business 1 month and then you're trying to do an e-com store and then you're trying to be a fitness coach and you're trying to do consulting and then you decide that you want to be a trader, like all of these things are like ruining your focus, right? If you just picked one and stuck at that thing for a good period of time, you would be way more ahead and successful than you think, right? Same with fitness, right? You see these guys, I'm going to try this program this week, this one next week, I'm going to chop and change. And they still 6 months down the line have that shitty, skinny fat physique, you know, because of they're fucking around all the time. If you just focus on one thing and stick to it and actually commit, you'd be way more successful.
My next tip would be not to smoke weed, not to do drugs in general, but especially weed.
Yeah.
Because weed is one of those, it's like a silent killer.
Yeah.
If you smoke weed, you think your life is still fine. You think you're achieving a lot.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're just ruining your life. You're killing your ambition. You're destroying your brain cells. And the thing with weed is you become satisfied achieving very little. Right? And the people who naturally smoke weed, they're also not really ambitious. So you end up hanging around unambitious people. It's this whole circle of problems. I feel if you just cut weed out completely, your chances of becoming successful double or triple or quadruple.
100%.
It's just, there's no benefit to smoking weed. It doesn't even make you more creative. This is just a myth. And then people talk about exceptions like Mike Tyson, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg, but these are exceptions. Like, the exception doesn't disprove the rule.
100%.
So
And
if you just cut out drugs, they'll say you have way more chance of making it.
Yeah, 100%. And also on that point, people are like, oh, weed helps me sleep well. Well, actually what happens when you smoke weed is it suppresses your deep and your REM sleep. So, you know, when you have dreams and things like that, that's the most important part of sleep. And that is what causes you to be focused each day, to make good decisions and shit like that. When you smoke weed, it suppresses your REM sleep, so you never have dreams. So your cognitive function the next day is fucked. So when people say, oh yeah, but it helps me sleep, actually, it's causing you to sleep worse than you think. You just don't know it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just cope with that.
100%.
Leads on to my next point, which is don't make excuses. Like, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, whether you think it's your friend's fault, whether you think it's your parents' fault. Because I see so many people are like, bro, I can't start a business because my parents tell me I need to go to university. My girlfriend tells me I need to do this. My friend tells me I should do that. It's like, no one actually cares about your excuse.
Yeah.
It's completely like you either did it or you didn't do it. So
Yeah.
my advice would be just never, ever accept an excuse. Even if you're super, like, people fail a lift in the gym and they're like, oh, it's because I didn't sleep well or I didn't eat. Well,
Yeah.
that's your fault.
Yeah.
Like, no excuses ever. Never accept any excuse.
100%, man. I agree with that. My next one would actually be to cut negativity and negative people from your life as early as possible.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, life is a mirror and reality is a mirror. So if you've got lots of negative people around you, no matter how positive you think you're going to be, your environment is going to cause you to be more negative. It's going to pull you down, right? And you're going to start having these negative thoughts. If you remove that kind of stuff and you look at things more positively, your life is now a positive spiral of things and opportunity and abundance and great things to happen. So as early as you can, if you can get rid of the negative, you then flip your mindset to positive and things get way better.
Couldn't agree more. I agree with all your points.
Sick.
My next point would be learn how to type quickly, because we do so many things on the computer.
Yeah.
So I was like 9 years of age and I did a touch typing course. My mom made me when I was in school, and it was the best thing I ever did. It took 1 hour every single day, and it was 100 days in a row, basically 3 months.
Yep.
And now I'm a very, very quick touch typer. So, you know, most people are operating at about 60 words a minute, 50, 60 words a minute. I'm on like 130, 140. And when you type that quickly, you get so much more done. Mm-hmm. We're all on our computers, so you might as well learn how to type quickly.
Yep.
You know, if you're going to use something a lot, become good at it.
Yeah, 100%. My next point for advice for my 20-year-old self would be to just become an excellent communicator, because if you can speak well, it opens up opportunities and doors that you wouldn't think were possible. And again, just going back to that skill versus, you know, someone without a network, someone that's got the same skills, but one can present very well and can actually sell themselves and communicate and speak well and project their voice. You give off an aura of confidence and good energy, and people are going to be attracted to that, right? Whereas if you're super smart, right, but you're like really timid and you're like blah, 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 saying like all this kind of shit, it's not going to come across as well, no matter how smart you maybe are.
Yeah, that's big. I say this all the time to my community. I'm like, guys, it doesn't even matter what you say so much. It's all about how you say it and the vibe you give off. Because I learned this from door to door. There were so many times when my energy sold them. Mm-hmm. You know, they were kind of not sure.
100%. I get it on sales calls all the time, man. They just like your energy and they buy into that feeling that you give them, right?
100%. Because they're just used to so many people coming to their door and selling them random bullshit.
Yeah.
So sometimes what I used to do is I'd come to their door and I could see that they didn't really trust me too much. So I stopped my pitch in the middle of it and I was just like, hold on. I can tell you don't trust me.
Yeah.
And they'd kind of smile and be taken aback because they thought, wait a second, I thought this guy was just reading a script or something.
Yeah.
The fact that he noticed my facial reaction, he noticed that I wasn't really trusting of him.
Yeah.
Then they start trusting you a lot. They're like, wow, this guy actually pays attention.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me just repeat what I said from the beginning. And that confidence and the ability to just take charge of the whole situation makes them think, okay, this guy is actually a bit different than other people.
Yeah.
They just trust you so much more. So I couldn't agree more. Speaking well is one of the most important things, man.
100%.
My next point would be, don't buy designer clothes when you're young and broke. You know, I'm wearing Prada right now. This is designer, sure. But in general, just buy plain clothes. Go Zara, go H&M. There is no need to be spending thousands of dollars on a Gucci polo. No one cares. A.
Yeah.
B, you need to spend that money on yourself. Invest it into networking with better people. Invest it in a gym membership. Invest it in good food. Invest it in a mentor. Invest in... There's a million things to invest in before Gucci polo.
100%.
So avoid designer until you're actually rich and your money's making you money. Just avoid it.
100% for sure. And actually, to add to that one, that was the next point that I was going to talk about, is the best money that you can spend in your early 20s is developing yourself, right? Sure. People are in their 20s and they want to buy a house, or they want to put money into the S&P 500 or dividend stocks that you see these guys on Twitter talking about all the time. And the truth is, if you just put that money into yourself and developing your skill set of presenting, sales, understanding business, having a better network, going to masterminds, developing you as a person, that is going to make you 10x more money in the short term and also the long term than it would putting it into something that's going to give you 5% a year. So that would be a huge thing for people, especially if you're young, developing to upgrading yourself as a person.
My next tip would be, don't have a slow laptop. Because when I started out in business, I had a Toshiba laptop and it took like 4 minutes to load up. And you're demotivated to work. You're like, what's the point? So get a quick laptop, get a MacBook Air, you switch it on, it switches on straight away. You're more likely to work, you're more likely to stay longer working, infinitely high ROI.
100%. Big advice that I would give to people in their 20s when I was starting out is, if you are to have a girlfriend, you want to make sure that she's super supportive of who you are. And just going from my own personal experience, like I was in so many toxic relationships in my early 20s with girls, just like, getting distracted and stuff like that, and not focusing on actually bettering myself and stuff like that, because you're always chasing this girl around, right?
Would you say she was toxic, or would you say it was your fault that you got distracted?
I would say that it's definitely part me and part the girls that I was attracting as well. But life's a mirror as well, right? So at the time I was probably a little bit insecure. I probably didn't have a lot going for me, so I was probably attracting these toxic girls because that's all I could get. So I think if you are to get somebody, you want to obviously ensure you're doing the right thing, but you want to have somebody that's going to be supportive of you and your mission of what you're going to do moving forward, or just stay single. I think for a lot of guys in their 20s, that's probably the best thing to do. My next one would be
to travel the world a little bit. Not travel too much, don't get distracted, don't let your business go to shit because you're traveling too much. But travel a little bit. I know so many people who, they're just in that same hometown all the time. You ask them how many countries they've been to, it's been like 2. I've been to 35 countries. I think it's just such a edge on other people. Because most people aren't well traveled. Most people don't know about other cultures. Most people haven't got the experience of talking to different kinds of people.
100%. And also, if you want to build a personal brand and put your life out there, you are 10 times more interesting if you're someone that, has been to 40 countries or been to 30 countries, because you have stories and a unique perspective. If you live in fucking Michigan and you haven't left, then,
I always tweet that about Michigan.
Yeah. If you just live in Michigan and you never left, like, your life maybe is not going to be as interesting as someone that's traveled. So I get what you mean, yeah.
My next one would be, understanding everything in this world is just energy. Nikola Tesla has a quote that says, everything is energy, frequencies, and vibrations. And I think this is so true. Once you just make a decision that you want more, you literally just have to click your fingers and say, I just want more out of life, and say, I'm not going to tolerate this in my life. I'm not going to tolerate that in my life. Everything starts changing for you. Mm-hmm. Once you just get pissed off enough at your situation, you're like, okay, no more drugs, no more alcohol. I'm not going to random parties anymore. I'm not accepting this level of income. Bro, everything changes.
Yep.
Then your standards go up, and then everything changes overnight.
100%.
Because once you change your input, the output will always take care of itself. You change the input, you change what you're actually doing, God will reward you with the output, the results you want. So
100%. Yeah. It's like
everything can be changed. Yeah. It's literally a law of the universe. Everything can change instantly as soon as you make that decision.
100%, for sure, man. No, that's a great one. And another one I was going to say, a bit of advice I'd give to my 20-year-old self is, give yourself permission to want to go and win, right? Because I think when you're in your 20s, you're going to get pulled down by a lot of people. Your family are going to be like, oh, just don't do this, don't do that, don't take this risk, stay safe, right? People at the pub are going to be talking about you making YouTube videos and doing that kind of shit. But you need to realize that the only person's permission you need is yourself. If you just say, okay, I'm Oliver, the only person that I kind of speak to or listen to is myself, I'm going to go make this decision, do it. And you just put the blinders on and do it. I think that's really powerful to do in your 20s when there's so much noise. People are trying to get you to go out and party and do all this stuff. If you can just say, I'm going to win, I've given myself permission, and go do it.
Yeah, just to extend on that, you don't need to follow anyone else's life path. Mm-hmm. So maybe you see me traveling, maybe you see Ollie in Dubai having fun as well, and you think, okay, I need to be in Dubai, I need to have fun. Yeah. You don't. If you want, you could go camping for 3 months in a row and stream it every day. Yeah. You could go and live in some party island in Ayia Napa.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go and do anything you want. You don't need to follow anyone else's life path. Mm-hmm. I remember when I got kicked out of university, one of my friends said to me, my closest friend at the time said to me, you can't sell boilers forever. Yeah. And I remember it annoyed me because my plan wasn't to sell boilers forever. Obviously, it was a temporary job I was getting because I just been kicked out of uni. I was looking to get myself back on my feet.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if other people are becoming accountants, other people are studying law. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Your path is your path.
Yeah. 100%. Another bit of advice I'd give to my younger 20-year-old self is actually to make friends with lots of different types of people. So what I mean by that is like make friends with people that are lawyers, right? Make friends with people that are uber successful in business. Make friends with people that are like super jacked in the gym. Make friends with the guys that are like super charismatic and, you know, are sick when it comes to the party scene and girls and shit like that. And you just build this array of people and experiences that you can then apply to yourself to be more dynamic. So you don't just have to be one of these guys. You can be an encompass of all of them because you've seen what they do in their expertise and what they're like. So yeah.
Yeah, just to extend on that, another piece of advice would be only really be friends with people who are useful, right? Like there's no point hanging out with someone just because they're kind of likable and kind of cool or funny, because I have this like famous quote within my friends group that says everybody's likable when you first meet them. It's like people put too much importance on just someone being funny or likable. How often have you met someone in your life and you're like, oh no, I don't like him, after 5 minutes of talking to him? Basically never. Like everyone's kind of likable when you first meet them. It doesn't really mean too much. For me, what means more is, are they actually useful? Can they actually help you with a favor? Can they actually do something for you? Can they benefit your life? Because
100%.
I say this a lot, man. It's like you only have so many positions available in your life for people. It's like a football team. You have 11 players who can play on the pitch, a goalkeeper and then 10 players. It's kind of the same thing with your actual friendship group in real life. You only can have so many close friends. You don't want to waste one of those positions with just a likable person. You need actual value.
100%. Yeah. That's massive. Yeah.
Another really, really big thing at the age of 20 is to place massive, massive importance on money. You know, people have this idea that, okay, just because I'm 20, it's okay to be broke and I have lots of time when I'm older. You don't have time when you're older. Like I'm 25 now and I'm telling you, I remember like yesterday being kicked out of uni, you know? So the more you place importance on money and getting things done at a young age, the better off your life is going to be. If you're watching this podcast and you're 18, good. Start focusing on gym money now. If you're 17, good. Focus on gym and money now. What I will say though is money does become more important as you get older. So let's say you're 30, it's more important to have money than when you're 17. I think the younger you are, the more important it is to be a good communicator and being in shape. Right. I remember I was 17 when I went to Iron Apple. All that was important, that I was in good shape and I was good at speaking. When you're 30, if you're trying to attract women and network with people, it's really, really, I don't like the word cringe, but I'll use it. It's really cringe and kind of, it's just not cool to be broke at 30.
No.
Then your physique matters a little bit less, but it's still extremely important.
Of course.
But it matters less than when you're 16 in school or 18 in uni or college. Then it's all about your muscles and the way you talk and the way you look and the way you communicate. So focus on everything as early as possible because it all matters. That's what I'd say.
100%.
Another bit of advice I would give to my younger self would be don't try and spend so much time and energy convincing people of your opinion. I was actually very guilty of doing this when I was younger. And to be honest, I still am. It's probably one of my biggest weaknesses. Because when I care about someone, I want them to actually know what's right. You know, and I'll only talk about things I actually really understand. So when I see one of my friends or family members make mistakes in certain areas, I'll try my best to convince them otherwise. But it's almost futile, man. People don't change their opinions just like that. It's much better to convince them through action instead of talking.
100%.
So now if I want to convince my family or friends something, I'll just have to show them.
100%.
Or I just let them learn themselves. Because, bro, you only have so much time and energy yourself in life. To go around really trying to drag this person here, drag this person there, it's impossible.
100%.
Tell someone something one time, 2 times. If they don't see the value in it, leave them be.
100%.
You know, if I say, Ollie, do you want to do a podcast? You're like, nah, podcasts are gay. You know, I'll give it 1 or 2 times, and then I'll be like, all right, he just doesn't like podcasts.
100%.
There's no point trying to convince people.
I agree. That was my next point, is that to actually pick your battles wisely for doing things right, because you've only got so much time and energy to do things. And again, you should be living this life and like going on this roller coaster of you enjoying yourself. And you shouldn't be trying to force people into doing stuff or, you know, trying to drag this energy into you. You should just be attracting it from the life you're living.
Yeah, just to extend on that would be, everything in life is just an energy battle. People think money is the most important resource. Well, because entrepreneurship is just resource management. So for me, though, the biggest resource is just energy and time. Everyone's trying to always budget their money. They're like, where is my money going? All right, I'm spending this much on groceries, this much on rent, this much on fun. but no one ever looks at how they spend their energy and time.
Yeah.
So you got to do an energy and time audit,
Yeah.
an energy and time budget. So I look at my time and say, okay, I have 1,000 waking minutes in a day, right? Because I sleep 7.5 hours, that leaves 990 waking minutes. Round that up to 1,000. That's 100 blocks of 10 minutes.
Yep.
Right. So the gym could be 40 minutes. That's 4% of your day.
Yep.
Right. Because each 10-minute block is 1%. So yeah, if I look at my time like this and I do an energy and time audit, I'm like, all right, I spent 40 minutes arguing with this girl. That's too much. All right, she's got to go. Okay, I spent 3 hours going to this party, which is 18% of my day. That wasn't even fun. All right, let me stop doing that. And you start looking at your day and you're like, all right, I actually have so much time. If I just do what I actually want to do, there's 1,000 minutes. I can do
100%.
anything.
Yeah, it's a good way to break it down, man. I always say people don't have a time management problem; they have an energy management problem.
Yeah.
And then it's true.
Time's never the issue.
No.
You could go to the gym 45 minutes. Like I said, that's 4.5% of your day. Then you could do this podcast, right? Maybe an hour of your day. That's 6%. Now you're already on 10.5% of your day. Let's just round that up to 11%.
Yep.
All right, eat all your meals, go to the toilet, do all your human activities.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even touching 25% of the day yet.
No.
And you've gone gym and done a podcast. All right, maybe client check-ins for you. I'm just going off your business. Let's say client check-ins, maybe making some other content, writing a few LinkedIn posts, talking to your girlfriend. Like, we're still not even on like 40% of your day, 45% of your day.
Yeah.
The rest of your day, you could just play video games and sit on the beach if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much time if you're efficient.
Yeah.
It's just no one's productive. Everyone's in no man's land.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of my best tips. I don't know how I forgot
great
this.
tip, yeah.
Never be in no fucking man's land.
Yeah.
Be all in or just be partying. I say this to people all the time. You're better off being on the beach or going to Brazil and partying with random women, Latinas,
Yeah.
than to be half in on business.
100%.
Be locked in. Be using every minute of your day to expand your business or just be partying with Latinas in South America. What's the point of kind of trying, kind of putting in an hour in your business, kind of not? Bro, it's a waste of time.
One foot in, one foot out. It just doesn't work, man. You need to commit for both and have seasons of intense work and seasons of maybe rest and partying and enjoying yourself, man. That's
I
the
always
way to
say
do
it, like, either be working so you're actually improving your business or have so much fun that you're creating memories.
Exactly.
Don't be in the middle where you're watching TV, there's no memories from watching TV, and it's not even that fun.
And you're not present.
And you're not present. And you're on your phone whilst watching the movie, it's just bullshit.
Yep.
It's better to be locked in doing needle moving tasks or have fun partying, go to Iceland, go to South America, go to Miami, actually create lifelong memories. Just spend time with your mom, have a nice lunch with her,
100%.
be present in the moment.
Yeah.
Too many people are like scrolling TikTok, scrolling Instagram, kind of doing a work related task, but then also getting distracted at the same time. It's bullshit. And that leads on to another task for me, another point for me, which would be only focus on one task at a time. So like right now I'm doing this podcast. I'm not scrolling TikTok. I'm not thinking of what I'm eating for dinner. I'm not thinking of what I'm going to say to my friends after this. Just one thing at a time.
Yep.
Do the podcast, finish it, then check the phone, check the to-do list, then move on to the next task.
Yep.
And this is how I've become massively successful. I'm sure you've done something similar.
Yeah. Focus is the key.
100%. They say Steve Jobs, when he had a problem back in Apple, he would only focus on one thing. He'd lock himself in a room and say, all right, for the next 24 hours, this is my concern. And that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is pointless.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to focus on fixing this problem and trying to cook dinner and on the phone to your girlfriend and on the phone to your mom and on the phone with this guy, you're never going to get anything done.
Yeah.
You need to have the ability of just, we focus on this, closed, finish, focus on this, close, finish.
Next thing,
next task. They say Napoleon did this as well. He'd open his drawer, open up a paper, finish whatever he needed to do with the battle plan or the paper, put it in the drawer, close the drawer. Like metaphorically and physically, that's what you need to do. Close that task.
Yep.
Then move on to the next, which is why I have a problem with people who open like 20 internet tabs. Yeah. I'm like, you're not productive.
You're doing nothing. Yeah.
You're doing nothing. Have 1 or 2 maximum open.
Yeah. Sick, man. This was great.
That's it, man. Guys, follow Ollie in the description. We'll put it. And if you post this on your channel,
follow
guys,
us,
follow me.
Yeah.
And like, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you boys in a bit.
Cheers.